This year, that madness, we're gonna cure it. You understand? We're gonna cure the madness. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is the last day of 2020. My god, it's been a crazy year, but you made it. I made it, and I just want to say congratulations for making it to the last day of 2020, and hopefully the new year has great things in store for you. Happy New Year in advance. So on this video, I've just been doing a lot of reflection, and I started thinking about like the things that I did better and the habits that I started this year that actually improved my life and made me a better person for it. So I'm going to be sharing with you 10 habits that actually changed, transformed, and impacted my life in one way or another. So relax and let me take care of you. Let's get started. Before we go on, I want to say a very big thank you for being a part of my community. This channel has grown immensely. We're on 5,000 plus subscribers. I wouldn't have done that without you. So this is me saying thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, the very first habit that changed my life in 2020 is prioritizing my mental health. Okay, before coming to the UK, I was never so keen about mental health, and that's also because like I never had proper mental health challenges. But this year I had several blows here and there, even with my academics, with the pandemic and everything, and I took steps to ensure that I am in charge of how I'm feeling. One of the steps I took this year is I took 1 month break off social media completely. Like I went MIA, I went off the grid totally for a whole month. For the whole of May, I was not online, okay? The only thing I did was that I just ensured I posted videos on YouTube because that was a goal for me. And apart from that break, I took another break in July. For the whole of that month, I went off grid again on social media. That's because things were overwhelming and I just needed that space for me to breathe. Apart from that, also, I kept taking consecutive like 2 days break from social media, 1 day break from social media. And the reason why I took a lot of break from social media is because I realized that that's where I get most stress. That's where my stressors are. The things I consume online, things I compare myself to, and all of that. So yeah, second habit that impacted my life in 2020 is being there for my friends. You may not know this, because when you see me on screen, you're like, oh, I'm a very social person. Well, that is true. I easily make friends, but I don't know how to maintain friends. One of my biggest problems over time has been how to maintain friendships. Like if I enter a room right now, I'm friends with 20 people. That is me. But 2 days, 3 days after that day, you can trust that I won't be in contact with any of them. So that has been a challenge. And this year I decided that I'm going to be more intentional about my friendships, being there for my friends, making that effort to call my friends, making that effort to send them messages, to check in on them, okay? And I can tell you that it's one of the best things I did this year because it made me get closer to some of my friends, and at the same time, it took our friendships to certain levels. Like there are certain things now about my friends that I know they feel more comfortable with me to share their secrets and everything. So it's been amazing just knowing that I have people that I can count on, I have people that I can call on, and people that like genuinely care about me. And that's because I have given them my time, my effort. I have been there for them this year, okay? Third habit that impacted my life in 2020 is losing weight. If you follow me on Instagram, you should already know this, and if you don't, this will be a good time to follow me at thechiderapeters. So I lost 10 kg this year. You guys, that was no joke. That's the hardest thing I've ever had to do in terms of discipline. It took a lot of discipline and self-will for me to show up every day consistently for over 3 months. It took me 3 months to lose 10 kg. Don't gain weight though. Don't gain weight, because to drop the weight is hard. Anyway, major shout out to anybody who is trying to lose weight or who is on a diet or an exercise regime. Is it regime? I be regime. You get what I mean? It's very difficult. So I lost 10 kg. I went from 72.8 kg to 62.3 kg. So that was major flex. That's one of my major flex in 2020. And so just becoming more conscious of my eating habits, becoming more conscious of my lifestyle choices. Like now I make effort to ensure that I'm active, that I walk around, I do things just so I don't gain that weight. That conscious effort has actually reaped great benefits because I feel better about myself. As a time when I started gaining weight, you guys, like I hated seeing my reflection in the mirror, but now I've overcome all of that and I'm back to the point where my confidence level is on 100. The fourth habit that impacted me this year is consistency. Hey, Jesus. You guys, you've been with me from the beginning of this year till this point. I have showed up every single week on YouTube. One thing that I have always struggled with over the years is consistency. If I tell you how many endeavors I have embarked on but never finished, you will just scream and be like, Chidera, what is your problem? And that's why I told myself this year, that madness, we're gonna cure it. You understand? We're gonna cure the madness. So we cured it. I showed up regardless of how I felt. There were weeks that I'm like, you know what? I can't do YouTube this week. I'm not shooting anything. But I told myself that thing that is worrying you, you will show up. So I can tell you that it's been amazing just seeing the progress I've made with just being consistent. First off, the major thing that came out of my consistency is the community I have built. So I have a community of international students known as the CP community, and just watching that grow and blossom into something beyond me is just amazing. And that's just as a result of showing up every single week. Okay, consistency. Next habits that I practiced this year is making sacrificial investments in my personal development. Whew. Yes, just like I said, it is a heavy one, and that's because it cost me a lot. I made a lot of sacrifices this year into my personal development. One of the biggest sacrifices I made this year is paying $450 to have a one-on-one consultation with a business expert like that in the US. Like you guys, I paid $450 for a 90 minutes call with this lady. But one thing I'll tell you that it is one of the best things I did this year, because that call formatted my brain. It helped me to see things clearly, because I had the call with her for my business, Job Sense Global, because I needed to rebrand it. And I can tell you that call, it was one of the most helpful things ever. But of course, when I was about to make payments for it, it was painful. It was extremely painful, but I had to tell myself, okay, Chidera, what is going to be the gain? Does the gain outweigh the cost? Do you understand? And I can tell you, I got the value for my money. That's one. Another thing I did, I paid 30,000 naira for a one-on-one personal finance class, because for me, I just want to do better with my finances. So I had to make that investment into myself, because I need the knowledge if I'm going to make finances work. Okay. Another thing I did, I paid for several classes. I paid for a class on storytelling. I paid like, I think 18,000 naira. I paid for another class about 20,000 naira. I paid for another class, that one was 7,500. Like, I did a lot of sacrificial investments in myself, because I know that in order for me to level up in the next year, I need the knowledge, I need the skills, I need the expertise, and you have to pay for value. So I paid. Okay. Next habit that I did or I practiced in 2020 is learning to be vulnerable. Hey God, some of you don't know this, but me, I'm a hard girl. Nothing gets through to me. Nothing penetrates me. I'm a very self-reliant person, and you know, growing up as the first child in my home, I'm a very strong-willed person. So I like to do things on my own. I don't depend on people. Okay, I feel like people would rather depend on me. So when I'm going through things, I go through it on my own. I suffer in silence. I take everything in on my own. I've always been this strong girl. Nothing gets through to me. Even my siblings, they can tell you that they had never seen me cry until this year. This year I just told myself, you know what, Chidera, you're going to be vulnerable, and you're going to let the people that you love in on the struggles you're going through. So this year I made that effort. When I had difficulties, I called my mom. I cried on the phone. I called my father. I remember the first time I called my sister and I was really crying. She was shocked, because that was the first time ever that I'll be that vulnerable with my emotions with her. Do you get it? And it helped us connect on a deeper level. And not just her, even my friends. I became more vulnerable with people, like sharing my struggles, sharing my worries, and just having people that really love and care about me be involved in the process. Okay. Another habit that I developed this year is being conscious of burnout, which is kind of like linked to my mental health, because I was doing a lot of things and I was also trying to help a lot of people at the same time. I got burned out frequently. Like, there were times when it became so overwhelming and I was struggling, and then I had to step back and tell myself, Chidera, you want to help people, but then you can't help people if you're burned out. Like, if I don't have the zeal, if I don't have the enthusiasm to do stuff, I can't do it. Okay, so I need to ensure that I'm able to keep my enthusiasm and my energy at certain levels. So what I did is, first of all, I started to do automations. Okay, so so many things I do now are automated. I don't have to be the one handling everything part time. Another thing I did is to attach value to my time. I noticed that a lot of people were reaching out to me, you know, asking me questions. And one thing about me, if you ask me a question, I feel like I have to answer you. So people were asking me questions that you could easily just Google, and I'm like, is it because you feel you have access to me? And I realized I need to place value on my time. And then I created services like the Q&A service, like my consultancy and all of that, and it really helped me avoid burnout. So now I can prioritize the things that need to be prioritized. Okay, another important habit that helped me in 2020 is listening to podcasts. This year I was more intentional about podcasts, and I think this happened during the first break I took from social media. Because I had so much excess time, I had to look for things to fill in my time with, and then I jumped into podcasts and I started listening to podcasts, and I actually learned a lot, and I got to discover certain different podcasts on different topics that I still listen to till now. And I can tell you that's actually good investment of my time. Like, it has made me better off, if that makes sense. And now we're in the last habit that I practiced intentionally this year, and it is gratitude. Okay, because this year, oh my god, the rejections I got this year, it was hitting me gbosa. Like, I got a lot of rejections this year, and if it's based on the rejections I got, then I shouldn't be sitting here, because I should be on my bed crying till tomorrow. But I just told myself, you know what, Chidera, you're going to be grateful. Okay, I remember there was this exam I wrote this year. It was terrible. Like, it wasn't what I expected. It was not related to my degree. It was an external exam. And you guys, when I saw my score, I stood up, I shut the laptop, then I turned on music like worship and praise, and I started dancing and just thanking God. I just told myself that this year I'm going to make that effort to be grateful in spite of how I feel and what's going on. And even as I was dancing and praising God, I was crying, but I told myself I'm not going to cry for sadness. I'm going to turn this sadness into joy. I don't know how to explain it. Even the Stanford video that I made about my rejection, after I made that video, what I did was I told myself, you know what, it has happened and you have to be grateful. And I intentionally chose the words I was speaking. I kept saying, like, after I made the video, I told myself, you're going to speak positively about this. So even when I told my family, I'm like, well, we thank God that I got rejected. Do you understand? And even recently, to wrap up the year, I did a 10-year gratitude challenge with about 20 people. I just shared on different things, being grateful and being thankful for the year so far, and points for reflection. So, all right guys, I hope you found this video interesting in some sense, and if you did, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button. And also, did you guys notice that the audio is better? I have gotten a microphone. A lot of you have been complaining about my audio, and I'm like, you know what, 2021, we need to start with a bang. Okay, so I got a mic. Let me know what you think of the audio, and thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you in 2021. Till next time guys, bye bye.